Welcome everybody to MMA Buds. It is August 22nd and ACB moves to pay-per-view. Oh shit. We got that, some fight announcements, and much, much more. Let's look into this shit.
It shouldn't be such a big deal. History, science, education, energy, everything has always been controlled by the government since day one. CIA!
Look at the time.
You figure it out. You try to figure it out.
No, it
No,
seems like
because when they
people
look into it, it's common sense. When you look into it,
Alright, ladies and gentlemen.
You unmuted?
Oh yes, we're unmuted, Jay. I am Dan from Oregon, live from the studios in the 541, and we got Jay Smooth here joining us for MMA for Brunch from the 410. Jay, how's your morning, man?
Man, it's fucking amazing. What's going on, everybody? Glad to be fucking here, and I'm glad to go through all this shit because things are getting out of control now.
Oh snap. So let's jump right into it, man. Our man Big Marcel 24 over on Twitter. Give him a follow. No free events anymore. ACB goes pay-per-view. You can download the ACB World app. And let's jump in here to their announcement. ACB will now be pay-per-view. Keep supporting the promotion and watch our first pay-per-view on September 8th, the Krasnodar fight, or Krasnodar, whatever. Because of the cancellation of multiple events due to some logistical issues, we received a lot of messages from our fight fans who was offered to help us by giving us some great advice. We need to support in the future because starting from our event in Krasnodar, ACB will be launching its pay-per-view platform ACB World. From now on, all events will be streamed through the pay-per-view platform. There will be no free live streams. The events will be shown on TV only after they are over. So tape delay on their is what they got going. It will be easily to purchase and pay for the subscription. We got no idea on the cost yet. You need to download the ACB World app, iOS, Android, Smart TV. Soon after the app is tested, yada, yada, yada. The pay-per-view cost will be determined after an agreement with you, our fight fans. Hopefully it's like $10. That's all I would like to pay. We're asking MMA fans to voice your opinion for the cost of an $89 pay-per-view. We're also asking fans to support this undertaking. Together, we'll get the league to a new level. We continue to grow and deliver exciting fights to the fans around the world. Jay Smooth, they used to offer everything for free on ACB TV on YouTube. We had a Facebook stream that offered a great English commentary featuring Frank Mir. Apparently the money's dried out though, and so the fans got to start pitching back in, man. Jay Smooth, your first thoughts?
How the fuck does a warlord of an entire country end up being with money? That's right to me. But the fact that we now have to pay for this shit, I think is a slap in the face. Because only people in Russia that are able to go to the events are people that live in Europe. They really give a fuck about it. And to be honest, people like me only give a fuck about it because we could go on YouTube and we could watch it for free. Now that they're asking you to pay, I'm going to be like, no, fuck you. I'm not paying for shit. And to be honest with you, it's going to alienate a big part of their global expansion in terms of North American fans and whatnot, and of course fans outside of Russia. But even though it's going to alienate them, it's also going to make it a lot harder for them to reach the global expansion level that they want to reach, because you don't charge people for this when you're not really in the position to do that, especially not financially. So if you ask me, this is definitely a bad move. They could have easily, picked up where they left off, but asking people to pay for it's a bit much, especially when the product's not on that level yet. It's just too much. Yeah, it's just too much too soon. Their expansion was good because, like you had mentioned before, I mean, it was fucking free. You could watch it right there on YouTube, and you didn't have to pay shit for it. But now that they feel as if they can charge people for it, they're going to tune more people away from the product. So, bad move. At least it appears to be a bad move.
I'll jump in and play devil's advocate and just say, I don't know if they think that they can charge for it. I believe they have to charge for it. They're just facing logistical money issues to where, man, if they can get 10,000 people to pay $5 and get 50K, and then they could pay each guy $1,000 or however little they pay those guys. I don't know. You know, the U.S. currency's got to translate pretty good over there to the Russian rubles. But what I will say, ACB was easily becoming the biggest promotion in Russia. They flew right past M1 Global. They were flying past Fight Nights Global. And the way that they stuck out is because they were free. They were the free one that everyone could get their hands on. And the English commentary really did help out as well. So, man, this is a big shot in the foot to all of the international MMA fans. You're totally right there. It looks like One Championship is one of the last people that's going to be offering us exclusively free live fights throughout the world. Man, I wish ACB could have kept it going, but it turns out us MMA fans, we got to pitch in a little bit if we're going to enjoy this sport.
That's the direction it's going in. It's starting to become it's starting to become like a second habit now. Like, you have to really fucking invest in watching these fights, and you have to be invested in the card, and you have to make business decisions now, because it's like, I don't want to pay money for that. But you have to think about it as a fan, because a lot of promotions seems like they're going in that direction. And you're right. One FC is one of the last promotions to offer their stuff for free. But I have a feeling that'll probably change at least in another 5-10 years when they expand.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Just like any great business, you know, Twitter, Facebook, they come in, they dominate the market, and then they throw ads at you. Then you start to pay. You know, it's completely free, and then ads, then you got to kind of pay. It's not a cost service, but you definitely, you know, that's your time and your attention. So maybe that's what they're planning in the future, to start throwing ads up on One Championship or the One Super App. Anyhow, ACB, I see what you're doing. You got rid of all your 5-6 shows that you had. You consoled it into 2. That way you can hopefully make it pay-per-view worthy. I know Russians don't buy pay-per-views though, and I don't know how many people want to buy pay-per-view at 10 a.m. on a Friday, so maybe they're going to have to start doing Saturdays. I don't know. But Jay, man, the cost of becoming a fight fan, if you watch everything, is becoming extraordinary, man. How rich do they think we are?
Clearly you know what, it's funny you say that. I don't really get the reasoning for charging so high, especially when you want to bring new product and bring new eyes to the product. The UFC obviously can charge. Bellator, on some level can, but on some level can't really do that. PFL, they have a TV deal, so it's not like they have to put their shit on pay-per-view, even though they easily could do it with the format they have. But yeah, I guess some companies are starting to feel as if they have, like you said earlier, they're starting to feel like they have to do it. Some either feel like they have to do it, or they feel like their product is to a point where they can sort of get away with it. And the ACB is starting to smell a little bit of both. Maybe they're getting a little desperate, but at the same time, they probably felt with such a rapid expansion the way it happened, they feel as if their product is to a point where they can get away with charging people, and they can't.
Man, it's crazy because, I mean, maybe I'm the only one buying and watching this shit, because Risen, that's $20 a card. KSW, right. I think that was 15 to 30 a card. Their massive one might have been 20. I think I'm not quite sure. KSW only puts on 4 fights a year though. The same with Risen, they only got about 4 or 5 a year. So if ACB's gonna jump in that pool too, now we got 3 promotions that we got to pay 10 to 20 bucks for. Freaking the UFC's over here wanting 65. I think I've got a new game plan as far as how I'm going to buy all this shit, man.
What do you think?
I like to support. I'm probably going to be getting January, I'll get me ESPN Plus for $50.
Ooh.
UFC's already got my money for a little bit on Fight Pass, so I'll stick around and watch Glory and Invicta and EBI and Titan for some time. DAZN, I don't have any cable package. I haven't had a way to watch Paramount, and having DAZN, getting the Joshua fight on boxing without any glitches, I'm going to start it off there. If they don't fail me, then I won't cancel my subscription. I'll keep that for the whole Bellator tourney. And essentially what this is going to mean is I'm forced to Reddit, dude. I'm forced to Reddit streams for every single pay-per-view for the UFC because, number one, they don't pay their guys good. They give them 5 to 10% of the fucking money. Fuck you, UFC. Fuck you, Endeavor. Fuck you, ESPN. And so you guys will get my 100, maybe 150 a year, and then all my other money is going to go to these international shows, and I'm going to Reddit, and there we go, buddy. We'll see how those streams hardly never let me down, man. So that's the way I'm going to get away with this.
Shit, you might as well. And if promotion, like, all right, if ONE FC starts charging, you're gonna see people definitely jump onto Reddit. They're gonna be like, "Fuck this bullshit." And again, it's headed there. You already see signs of it now. ACB's headed there. Fight Nights Global might be headed there if they're not already. I know N1 Global's in that category. But yeah, man, as soon as they start charging for the shit, you might as well just say fuck you. There's no point in doing it. Because it's way too fucking... It just adds up over time, man. So it's like you either have to pick and choose or just say fuck all of that and just stream as much as you can off Reddit.
BLT throws out something that is actually very interesting. What if ACB should partner with PFL? And that makes a lot of sense because PFL is going hard in the paint with the Russians. And they really only have like one summer season type thing going on with not a lot of fights, not a lot of contracts going on. That would be pretty interesting. I want to give you guys a throwback to maybe I mentioned this one time on the broadcast. As UFC abandoned Fox and ran to ESPN, that was in the heyday of ACB before everything started going downhill. I thought they should have picked up ACB, man. I thought they should pick up ACB on fucking tape delay or something, and they should have thrown that on Fox. Give you the ultimate FU. They had great commentary. They got great fighters. They were going freaking everywhere, and that could have gave them the money to maybe get it done, man. So in an alternate world, ACB is on Fox, and it's still all international, just so you know, Jay.
Shit, man. If they actually pulled it off, it's funny because like Fox shows like German soccer and Russian soccer and shit like that. So why not show Russian MMA and just say fuck you to the UFC, especially since they didn't want to work with them and wanted to work for N1 and wanted to work with N1 Global, even though Dana White has already had shitty negotiations with N1 Global and its handlers in the past when trying to get Fedor there. So I don't know why they would go in that direction and not give ACB a chance. Maybe help them out just a little bit.
You know why? Because bowling brings in the fucking ratings, Jay Smooth. Bowling. Raider in the chat says, I have a middle finger to Fight Pass and DAZN. Bellator doesn't have enough fights for me. Boxing isn't hard to find online. Great points over there by Raider. So, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, especially being twice the price. Damn. But with 22 events a year or something like that, I think 15 on Paramount and then 7 exclusive to DAZN. You do the math on that, and that pieces out pretty good. I mean, in all honesty, I just paid $10 for that Brave card for really like 3 fighters that I knew, 2 fights that I wanted to watch with the main and co-main, and then it got sprinkled in with some Keith Lee and then some Jamal Chan who got the walk-away KO. That was very nice. But yeah, I guess I'm the only sicko out here, man. So ACB. We look forward to seeing how much you're going to charge and what exactly is going to happen in the future. Come strong with these 20 fight cards, though, and with some top-name fighters if you can, though, man. and we'll see what
And I
happens in
look
the
forward
future.
and I look forward to streaming ACB on Reddit. That's going to be a fun find right there. Because
Now,
some Russian's going to be showing it underground.
mm-hmm. And someone in
See,
the chat says, "Thank God for LFA."
yes,
So,
I agree.
is this DAZN deal good for Bellator or better for LFA? You know, all the recent news with Bellator. This might be one of the best things that ever happened to LFA.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a combination of both. LFA benefits from this because they're easily going to slide in as number 2 since they are a direct feeder to the UFC. And Bellator just fucked themselves over by charging people for cards that aren't even worth, like, they're not even worth $1. You know what I mean? They're, like, I think somebody, unemployed Mario Yamasaki says Bellator is good for Fridays after work. That's pretty much what Bellator is. Like when you if it's a Friday night and you just want to see some cans go at it for free, you go watch Bellator. That's what I think of. I don't think of them as necessarily number 2. And them charging people to pay basically to watch like the Bellator Grand Prix and shit, that's only going to push people away and drive more people towards a promotion like LFA, where the fights are better, you get more finishes, the cage is a hell of a lot smaller, and the production value doesn't look like it's being held inside of a like DUI classroom or something. It's actually some good fucking quality, and the fans don't look like shit.
Okay, you bring us something there, and I really wanna. Someone needs to write this down and remind us. One of you out there has got to become our reminder. We're gonna have to look up, like maybe on Twitter or something, who's getting more traffic, Bellator or LFA, come this new DAZN deal. I want to see, does a DAZN exclusive card compared to an LFA card on the same night, who does better? Because that would be some interesting stats to look forward to. I believe Bellator has had more shows this year, under 500,000 people watching than any year before. Something like 7, 9, or 11 of their shows this year has been under 500K, which is pitiful when it comes to live TV viewers.
True shit. I can't disagree with that at all.
Man, okay, so BLT, once businesses hit a financial halt, they need heavy investment or a partnership, or they will collapse. ACB just trying to plug little bits of leaks with money from their fans. That does make some sense there, man. MMA Pixels says, I don't get access, though. And so this is one of the issues, man. Not everyone has DirecTV. Not everyone is going to shell out 20 to 30 bucks to get Sling for just one channel or some shit like that. So that is the problem with access.
And I think, and actually, you mentioned LFA like trying to be on the rise. I feel like at some point in the future, probably the near future before the year's over, somebody's going to start streaming that shit on like somewhere online. Because it really, like, as it gains more traction, somebody's going to start illegally streaming it. I have a feeling it's going to head in that direction.
That's kind of how you can judge a promotion's popularity. Is there even a illegal stream available? Because for a lot of Bellator cards, there isn't. For a lot of the other old shows, at least when I was looking. So people like Jay Smooth are a little bit better at researching. they can find things like that. For the average MMA Reddit guy, though, sometimes they are hard to get their hands on. But we will definitely keep you posted on all this news that will be coming. Hold up, did I have something from what's his name though? I think I got some DAZN news that we could hit on.
All right, what's up?
There it is. And on this episode of the MMA Report, Jason Floyd tells you what he's learned about Bellator's streaming deal with DAZN in relation to international events. Plus, he has interviews with the Great 155. Is that Alex the Great White? I think that might be. Alex Hernandez? Or no, okay, different guy. Alex Hernandez, though. Cheeto Vera and someone else. But I've got a little audio clip. You know what? I won't play this, but I will retweet it for everybody. He
Oh,
essentially goes on to
yeah.
say that he's heard the Israel card will be tape delayed on Paramount, and
Yeah.
there's a little bit of confusion on what's going to happen with DAZN. Is it going to air at the same exact time as it does on Paramount, which would mean tape delay, or is it actually going to be live on DAZN and then tape delayed on Paramount? I'm going to have to listen to this whole podcast and report back, but the news does not sound good, man. It sounds like we're going to get some shady shit going on here. I'm not sure. You can't be tape delaying in 2018, J Smooth.
Yeah, that's why Bellator, like I said, they always fuck over their fans in the UK internationally because they always do that, like that fucking tape delay shit. Oh, unemployed Mario Yamasaki did remind us. We didn't talk about that guy that drilled his nutsack.
Oh, that's coming up.
Okay. Fuck, I almost forgot about that. But yeah, man, fucking, that's the one thing that keeps Bellator kind of like, I guess not number two, but like number two, number three is the fact that when they go international, it always looks nice, but you know the results before the fight even fucking starts, so there's no point in watching it, or you see the highlight of it, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. It's
They
not a
still,
good way
yeah,
to do business.
no, it's not. That's why LFA is going to slowly take over because they feed directly to the UFC, and Bellator at this point is just a fucking sideshow.
I think the Americans get way too caught up in their own heads a lot. Because where the fuck does Access air internationally? I don't think so. That's more like the college sport. And I don't know what's happening with Bellator and Bama. I've never watched Bama. I'm more of a Cage Warriors guy. The Bama, you got to pay for that shit. Cage Warriors is on Fight Pass. That's a no-brainer for me. But apparently Bama lost a ton of guys to Bellator recently, and they're going to Israel. They're going to London coming up soon again. They're hitting up a lot of the weird Middle East, Italy type, the southern places that UFC hasn't gone to. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. I'm not as high on LFA just as of yet though. But man, let's change topics here. Let's do a throwback to, of course, the topic of the weekend, which was James Gallagher getting knocked the fuck out. Not half, a quarter of the social justice media. I don't know if they got Connor's dick way up in their mouth, or I don't know what the hell. They're like, you can't cry. Don't laugh at this guy. Jeez, he comes from SGB Ireland. I got to stick up for him. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but Maximum Power makes a great tweet out here. He says, look at the difference in Ariel's promotion of these two interviews. And he pretty much had Ricky Bandejas on his show just so people wouldn't fucking rake the coals over him when he has, what's his name, come in live in studio. And Maximum Power points out something great. He says, I asked Ricky Bandejas what he said to James Gallagher after he knocked him out. And apparently James told him while he had his hands in his face before, he said, 10-2, bitch, 10-2, you're going to lose. And James went up to him and said, as he's still unconscious, he said, 11-1, bitch, and then walked away. Full interview. And then in contrast, the fucking tweet that he puts out, just sucking off James Gallagher, man. James Lynch put it very well, man. He's like, you're not out here trying to promote these gyms, promote these fighters and everything. Act like a goddamn journalist. Act like a reporter for once, man. Raider says Ariel is Oprah. Jay Smooth, what is your thoughts on this matter?
That's just covering his own ass. I don't even think he really cared to, interview Banderas. He wanted to talk to Gallagher. Mm-hmm. Clearly, anybody out of SBG Ireland, he's all over, whether it's Artem or Connor or Gallagher or anybody that comes out of there. Mm-hmm. So, hey, I don't get the bias at all. I guess he needed to cover his own ass, so we let the guy in. But clearly, you could tell by the body language and the questions, he didn't care too much for him. He's just like, okay, the guy got the knockout. I get to interview him. But he's drooling over a guy that basically was too cocky and then he paid for it. Personally, I think that's funny.
Way too cocky. Ariel angling for the exclusive interview with Connor. Sounds about right, man. He'll try to shoot us some walk and talk or some live exclusive Wednesday podcast like he always does with Nate. I love those Wednesday ones with Nate, actually. But, man, let's move on to other great news in the MMA landscape. Thiago Santos, it looks like, is going to step up and face Jimmy Manuwa down in Sao Paulo. I believe is going to be his opponent. And he signed a contract for this thing. Looks like they got a Brazilian on that card, so it's not,
So he's fighting at
a shit
205
card.
for this? So he'll be at 205 for this fight? I'm guessing, as far as his weight goes.
Sounds right, doesn't it?
Yeah, that means he'll be moving all the way up to fight Manawa. That's an interesting matchup, but hey, I guess you got to find a Brazilian on short notice.
That's what happens when Bellator comes along, offers Machida a shit ton of money. That's all I've heard. I've heard it's so much money, you wouldn't believe it. So much the UFC tried to match it, and he said, "Nah, I'm out of here, dude. I want sponsors. I want people to treat me like a star. And you know what? They already got my bro over there, so they're showing the Machida some love." And next thing you know, you got a guy like Thiago Santos going and headlining the card. Man, you put a card side by side, like a UFC in Brazil, and then Machida going to Brazil. I think Machida with Bellator might draw better views. Maybe I'm crazy.
I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but I don't really know about that. I don't know if I commit or make a bet on that.
Instead of views, let me be clear. I mean, kind of like butts in the seats. He might be able to get more people to show up there live for something like that. That was more what I'm thinking.
That I agree with.
Okay.
That I do actually agree with. But yeah, just regular ratings, I don't know about that.
Man. What a good effing scrap for sure, says Steve Sparks. Love this fight, says Raider. And Unemployed Mario Saki says, great fight. People are stoked for this. Great job, UFC. Way to get the goddamn thing done. And apparently, in other fight news, Yoel Romero went on the Hawani Hour. And he is, according to Jay Smooth, why don't you just give us this report?
Which one was that?
The Yoel Romero news from...
yeah, the eye surgery. Apparently he broke his orbital. Or at least that's the rumor. But he's going to need eye surgery, and he's going to be out 4 to 5 months. And because of that, fight with Costa won't be happening. I always thought it would be a weight issue or USADA issue, but eye surgery is kind of a random one. And if anything, either this was recent, or if it was a past injury, he probably suffered it again in the Whitaker fight, more likely. Just because of the time. Yeah, just because of the timing of it. Like the timing of the news coming out and everything. It seems as if this might have been either reoccurring or probably just happened.
We'll definitely have to see. I know an orbital, that might take a little bit to heal up from, because those are some tiny bones that definitely freaking... I broke my orbital over here, and they sliced me open here and in my gum. Went in through my nose because this little bone got broken, and that shit fucking... I'm sure that wasn't easy to heal up from, especially if you're going to go out there and take punches in the face. Boom, one punch in the face. Next thing you know, your nose is as mangled as Rory, and you're taking a freaking year and a half off, Crazy shit can happen.
What if you're taking elbows or fucking knees to the face and you get hit in that orbital? That could be even worse. You could end up with a skull in your face. I mean, you could end up with a fucking dent in your skull, or you could actually break your jaw. You could have your eyeball possibly pop out or some shit like that. It could really fuck you up in the long term. As in, it could probably end your career.
BLT says Bobby landed those knuckles. Steve Sparks broke an orbital 2 minutes of the Bobby rematch. And MMA Hole's #1 fan. What's up? Is that J4? What's happening? Costa is too low a fighter for Yoel. So Frank Pavon may be going the injured route, as opposed to just getting out of a fight. Let's hold off. Let's let this middleweight tournament kind of get some steam behind it, and then I'll take on one of the winners instead of that, freaking young buck named Costa that's steaming through folks that no one knows about. Yeah, maybe a little conspiracy theory there. An elective orbital surgery, maybe.
That is like very. That's what I mean. Like the timing is interesting. All of a sudden, he needs eye surgery. Like you would think, if his orbital was probably broken in that fight, he would have known that the fight wasn't going to happen. But hey, maybe it was a situation where the UFC really wanted it. They tried to force it on him, but maybe after a medical examination, his doctor felt different, and he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take the doctor advice."
Dude, I have no idea. When I got mine, I had a hematoma like this big. Fucking surgery was like mandatory, and I had to wait for the swelling to go down. So,
where was it?
Wait, what? The hematoma, I think, was like right over here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, don't get punched in the face by a Golden Glove boxer. It doesn't work too good. But dude, we get Jay Smooth. Are you in the chat, or is there a fake Jay Smooth in the chat?
Nah, that's not me. It's probably something that's you though.
Yesterday it was Mikey. Today it's Jay. Man, there's got to be a fake Steve coming up next. Where's the fake, or a fake bacon, lettuce, and tomato? Maybe they'll make it like bacon, lettuce, mayonnaise, and tomato. I don't know.
They're creative though. They're there.
Shit. Yoel's going to his laboratory in Cuba to hide out for a while. And someone put it on Twitter. God damn it, I wish I could have pulled it. They said they had to delay the fight. That way Romero and Costa could get their T to E ratios figured out. Yeah, that was fucking great.
Yeah, I saw some memes where people were saying basically Yoel was ducking the Costa fight. Where like somebody put like a traffic sign where it's like the Costa fight was ahead, eye surgery was to the right, and then it's just like a meme of this car going off to the right. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh man, so what else we got? _Rizzer, Bobby Riz, retweeted this Bleacher Report article. UFC fighter suffers gruesome injury in accident with power drill. And what the hell does this mean? Bryce Mitchell, a.k.a. Thug Nasty MMA. This would never happen to anyone unless they had Thug Nasty as their name, just so you know. So be aware.
Yeah, I was going to say, somebody with the name Thug Nasty MMA, it is fitting that they would do something stupid like drill themselves with a power drill.
Exactly. And so Bryce says, so I was going to trade today, but I ripped my nutsack in half. You did not hear that wrong. I'm about to get it stitched up. I was holding the board over my head with the drill in my pants. I was sizing up the board, and the drill went off and tangled my nuts up in it. So he's doing the old put it in between the legs and kind of hold it for a second. Kind of put your legs together like a lady. But his thighs too goddamn strong. He hit the fucking drill.
I love how, like first he cut himself and then he hit the drill again to do the reverse, and then it just like that's when it probably really got bad.
Oh my god. He probably hit it in a panic too. Instead of going like real slow so it kind of slowly engages, he probably went full bore. Ah! Ripped his whole nutsack. Oh shit, dude, where's my there's something about Mary clip. We got a bleeder. There's his roommates outside screaming, Frankenbanes! Frankenbanes! As the ambulance is there. Oh my god. I can't believe you went to social media with this. This is hilarious. My nutsack was ripped in half.
Yeah, I'm just glad there wasn't like a picture of it other than like the bloody fucking underwear that he had.
I obviously can't post a pic, but when my nutsacks are sealed back up, I'm going to come trade again. I think the high kick would re-rip them. Oh my god. And if I hear any shitty puns about how this whole thing is nutty or screwed up, I ain't talked to you for about a month. If you're gonna drop a pun to make fun of me, at least put some thought into it. And he spells thought like a fucking bitch. Someone on Twitter goes, man, are you going to auction those things off? He's like, fuck no, dude. I'm a crazy white boy. I'm going to bleach them and wear them. Or some shit. Oh my God, Jay Smooth. At the beginning of the week or the weekend, we're talking about a fighter who outs his girlfriend for cheating on him. It's got 4 million views on fucking Twitter, blew up. Like, that shit went viral. Now we got the fucking nutsack gate. Dude, this is a crazy time in MMA, Jay.
Not to mention, Andrea Lee's husband has that warrant out for his arrest. Yes. I don't think he's been yet. Yeah, but it's coming.
Dude. That dude's on the run. I don't know if all of you out there are straight shooters and you've never been in problems in your life or any shit like that, but this dude's running. This dude ain't turned himself in. He's fucking kicking it in some trailer down there in the south somewhere. He ain't worried about this nonsense, man. Eventually, he might get caught and go to prison, but there's not a manhunt that's going to turn this guy out because the MMA media, plastered his photo everywhere. But we're not the fucking NFL. This guy's
exactly
the GOAT Danny. They're Donnie.
He's just going to fucking hide out until somebody recognizes him and turns him in one day. That's all that's going to happen.
What's Donnie's last name? Does anyone remember? Maybe we should make a...
I don't even know.
Maybe we should make a spin-off show that's called Where in the World is Donnie Blank? Like Carmen Sandiego. We'll keep you updated with reports. But man, on to more news. Brave 14 was a successful event. One more step for Brave CF's global expansion. We'd like to thank our inspiring vision by our leader and the founder of Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad, the Bahraini royalty, and the guidance of the Brave CF president, Shahid the Hawk, for making this all possible. And it was a great event. If you guys watch this, every single fighter that knew something and got an excellent victory, they went over to the king and kissed the ring. That's how that shit works, man. So nicely done by you. The celebration, once the Moroccan won. Donnie Aaron is the name. Okay. Fucking
okay.
2 first names, man. Don't ever trust someone with 2 first names. That's
2 first
shit.
names and Nazi tattoos. That's always a giveaway, apparently.
Mm-hmm. There we go. But they dropped the confetti with the Moroccan colors, man. It was a celebration for kings, or something you would love to see. Something that you would see back in the old Pride era or something, man. And their crowd was pumped. First crowd down there in Morocco. And Jay Smooth, I did some research, dude. I didn't realize this. We had that Moscow card, and a lot of people thought the Moroccan card was going to come on earlier. Morocco is actually much more to the west, dude. It's like near England and shit. Just right down south.
Shit. That.
Yeah, they're in the GMT time zone. So, yeah, just a little side note there for everybody. And so, Brave, I love what you're doing. I don't know if I'm going to keep watching you on Fight TV. I might go Flow Combat. Who knows? Maybe Flow Combat will hook a brother up because they got like 3 events a month that's going to happen. That seems like a pretty good bargain. But, Jay, what the hell is Tony Ferguson doing?
Tony Ferguson's on the road to injury, man. That's what that first video was, and now that's what this is. He's determined to break something, snap something, or rip something. He's just determined to hurt himself.
Is this fake news? Is this 100% T-Ferg? Or is this just a guy that kind of looks like he would train like fucking Tony would?
Honestly, he looks like a guy that would train like Tony would, and if that's actually him, I wouldn't be shocked.
You know what? As long as people don't tag Tony in these, I'm all for him. Keep posting these crazy workout videos and act like it's Tony. Just don't put Tony's fucking name in it. I posted this guy holding a barbell doing a backflip, and I 100% said that show Tony this, guys. 100% do not show him this. And that's the only thing I'm worried about is he's gonna get tagged and start attempting some of this crazy shit. But nicely done, man. Squats on the longboard, that can't be easy. It's normal, says BLT. Thank you, BLT. Saying what we were all thinking. Rockhold always speaking the truth on the UFC, and Esha tweeted this out. She was watching the interview that he did. He did some scrum. He's out there wearing his sponsors. He's got Adidas, American Ethanol on. And he's calling out USADA. He's like, man, you guys effed over my homie, DC. That's my boy. And what the fuck's going on with John? John's been tested one time in 2018, one time since his suspension.
I'm just sick of that. Watch.
He's sick of watching Brock and John just come in basically with little tiny slaps on their wrists or something by USADA. And he goes on to say, you know, it seems like when they first came in, USADA was for real.
When you get down to real business, these guys, you know, they should be suspended for a long time. People are learning how to cheat the system. USADA is owned by the UFC.
Oh, and then he even says USADA's owned by the UFC. Not the UFC pays USADA. USADA owns the UFC owns USADA. I think he's pretty accurate here, man. I don't know what's going on. If you go into arbitration, if there's some rule written out where you can't be tested, what I think, John Jones is on his return. The arbitration is all but over. It just hasn't been announced, and that's why he was tested again. He's pretty much through with USADA. Is that going to be the UFC 230 main event? I got no idea. Luke Rockhold's pissed, though. Jay, where you come down on? What side of it do you come down on?
I bet, you know what? I'm willing to bet that John Jones will likely get a bit of an exemption. And it's not far off in thinking that because Brock Lesnar got the same thing when he fought Mark Hunt. He basically jumped out of the WWE ring and decided to literally jump into the cage while still on, whatever stuff he was on that he got popped for that one. I think it was UFC 200. Whatever he failed that drug test for, that's pretty much the stuff he was on. So I think the UFC, knowing that and knowing that John Jones is probably still dirty in some form, they know he's still going to draw in New York. You know, he's going to draw in his hometown, especially in Madison Square Garden. You make it main event. If you have him and Gustafsson part 2, you can definitely sell. You can sell out the whole place, no problem. You're going to get a bunch of eyes on the card because that fight's amazing. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if another USADA exemption came into play because they need somebody. They don't have a main event and they don't have anybody solidified for that spot. So out of a desperate attempt, yeah, they're probably going to give out an exemption. Could see it.
As long as that other guy, DC wanted to sign that fucking the release. He said, I don't care about John's test. Just let me sign something. Let's go through with this shit. So, I mean, these guys want that money. They want to get it. I don't know, man. Half these fighters want clean fights. The other half want the money fights. It's a fucking strange time going on here. We got not only a fake Jay Smooth, we got a fake Dan from Oregon jumping in the chat.
There we are. You got to get the duo, right? Might as well.
We got the trifecta, man. You got the fake Mikey Anzalone missing arms, the Jay Smooth and the Dan. You now done it. Everyone give him the golf clap. But stay tuned, dude. I don't know. The fucking John Jones UFC 230 is getting a lot of legs.
And honestly, it wouldn't be far off. And actually, it's funny because Brock Lesnar just performed for the WWE back on Sunday. And if you looked at how his physique, he looked fat. He's back to being tested again. And you can tell. And even Daniel Cormier tweeted about it. Daniel Cormier knows he's going to make short work of Brock because unless Brock Lesnar has something in his system, he can't perform to that high level. at least not now. And it wouldn't surprise me if John Jones was certainly still on some shit. And since USADA only tested him that one time, clearly he's able to do what he wants. And I think there's going to be a bit of a timetable for him. I think there might be a little bit of cooperation going on that obviously the rest of the world doesn't know about.
I mean, when you get the Golden Snitch on the JRE MMA show, I pretty much know that the fix is in at this point in time. It was pretty clear.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say that because I just can't help but think that Luke Rockhold is actually right about this. USADA and UFC are definitely hand in hand, but it's more of a different type of deal. It's like you only test who we want you to test. Certain people we don't want you to touch. You know what I mean? Because either the UFC knows that they're on something, or they have a feeling that they're on something and they don't want to jeopardize their career. Meanwhile, they get a lot of lower level fighters that don't have as prominent of a name to take the fall and end up getting tested so many times. But now you're seeing even big name fighters like DC, who's historically clean. They test him over and over again just to say, hey, we have clean fighters on the roster. They do the same with Mighty Mouse, same with John Dodson. They use a lot of clean fighters as pawns, unfortunately, to cover up for the dirty ones, and that's not good business. That's kind of a conflict of interest, because that's certainly not what they were hired for, or maybe they were, and the UFC didn't want us to know that. But it just seems like a bit of a dirty business practice to me.
Yeah. It's crazy, because I mean, why wouldn't they just like hire a guy in Russia to go test all of the Russians? Because they're definitely like not doing that. Anyways, MMA Pixels says, "What's next? A fake Mario account?" I don't know, man. I think unemployed Mario's the only one going to be showing up here. Massive Fat Brock versus DC for the heavyweight belt equals $65. Or Reddit MMA, one of the two.
Honestly, that's Reddit MMA because, like, just looking at Brock Lesnar in the shape he's in now, it's so bad. It's not like he's just a little bit fat. He just looks completely fat now. So when he goes in the UFC cage when he goes in the octagon against DC, it's probably going to be ugly. I wouldn't pay money for it because after seeing Brock Lesnar, I'm like, fuck this. He's just going to get steamrolled.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Anyone who thinks less or thinks differently, we could consider a mark, essentially. Because DC should go out there and destroy him. And it should happen in a round. If it goes past a round, I'm going to be very disappointed.
If it goes past a round, not only am I going to be disappointed, I'm going to laugh at everybody for it because I'm going to be like, this is what you get. This is karma. Shouldn't have lined their pockets for that bullshit.
Mm-hmm. DC, I hope you get paid the F out, brother. It's one of your last fights. We'll see what happens. Joe Lasanda, we got some sicko Russian MMA going to hit you this morning right after this stream. So S70 Platforma Cup 2018 from Sochi, Russia. That's where they had the Winter Olympics not too long ago. Watch it on Boke TV or here. Click on the link. It seems to be a great stream that's going to work for everybody. And check it out, the card. Here it is over at Tapology. And, man, the top two fights on this card actually look kind of interesting. They got a 6'7" heavyweight going in there to do the damn thing, I believe coming out of Brazil, taking on a Russian. So a 21-5 versus an 18-3. I'm going to tune in just for that heavyweight fight. And then I'm not sure what else is below it. That might be interesting. Alexander Romanov, 8-0. Might be cool to see what he can do. And Armin, 12-1. But, you know, if you're sitting back doing nothing, or you got fucking one extra screen where you could put on some fights and just glance up every once in a while, throw these bitches on. There's been some fighters that have actually came out of here. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but this promotion did get my eye. And it's free, so where ACB falls, S70 comes in. Here we go. We got some free MMA on Wednesday. So how about that? And then tomorrow, World Fighting Championship, Ahmet 51, Kareem Zidane's favorite promotion. That's going to be on tomorrow as well. And then what the hell else we got, Jay? Oh, here's the stream right here. I will try and I retweeted the link so you guys can just find that. I'll add this to the description for all of my homies that only watch via YouTube. But Jay Smooth, what else you got for us, man?
Oh man, you want to go over this weekend or like on Saturday, or do you want to save that?
No, let's save that.
Okay, good shit.
Okay, but one more post, just some funny shit for you guys. And I wrote this is virtually identical to James Gallagher. And we got a man over here on holiday, as they would like to say, or on vacation, as we would say. And he made his way over to England. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the palace, and I'm going to see one of those guards with one of those weird hats.
About one of the worst ideas you could ever come up with.
And then he wants to fucking do the robot in front of him. Everyone do the robot and get knocked the F out.
Oh.
One shot, one kill. It doesn't matter if your name is Ricky Bandejas or you're a fucking guard over in England. You want to get in someone's face and start talking some shit. This is the reaction that anybody should have.
Absolutely.
Anyone talking shit, this is always the response that I want to see. I want to see you get knocked the F out. Dude, there was onlookers everywhere, and everyone's thinking the same thing. They're like, I didn't know you could do that.
Well, I love how, like, immediately after the guy gets knocked out, somebody says in the background, that's assault. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's the first thing you think of when you see a guy get knocked out that definitely deserved it. Oh, that's assault. Like, what the fuck?
No, it's
It
not.
is assault, but that's fucking hilarious. And just everybody got quiet immediately after he got dropped. That's just too fucking funny.
The people just walking by on their bicycles. Oh, look at we rented these bikes. They got their helmets on and shit. They look so stunned, dude. So stunned. Oh, there's a compilation video of Queen's Guards. Oh, it's the Queen's Guard. Okay, nice. Well, we might have to whip those up. I thought that was great timing over here, man. It definitely reminded me of James Gallagher, and I laughed both fucking times.
Yes.
But Greg Oden touches on something in the chat. Everybody, I have rebranded Dan from Oregon to the MMA Buds. I believe it's going to be better for search results. I think it's going to bring more people into our following, and we'll have more folks coming and joining us. I think it's a good move all around, because who the hell wants to search for MMA and types in Dan from Oregon? Only people listening to every goddamn radio show out there. That's all. So, MMA Buds is here to stay. Let me know what you guys like, what you don't like, all of that good shit. Jay Smooth, what you got going on this week, man? You gonna come back for some more MMA for brunch?
Oh, you know it, man. The majority of the work I had to do this week, I already got done. This is actually my first half day, so got done with work about an hour. Tomorrow, Friday, I could definitely join in, and Saturday I'll be here for the prelims. So, count me in for that.
Nice. Okay, so Saturday we will be here for Omaha, Nebraska. The prelims coming exclusively from Fight Pass, and then I think the next one is like FS2 or some shit. I think we'll be doing those as well. And
Right.
let me just go through my shit here, find out what other events we had lined up. What else has happened on Saturday? There's something going on in the morning. M1
Yes, there is.
Championship, I think, maybe is going on.
Oh, that's right. You did mention that to me earlier in the week. I believe that's like the Saturday morning before the card.
Yeah, M1 Championship 96. Yeah, so here's your MMA coming up, everybody. Upcoming MMA. League S70 right now. WFCA or Ahmet 51 tomorrow. And then on Saturday morning, M1 Challenge 96. And then gonna hit you up with USC Nebraska for MMA buds for that. Bare Knuckle is Saturday as well. Holy smokes, that's too much MMA. Yo, let's talk about a promotion that's overpriced. $30 on Fight TV for Bare Knuckle FC?
Actually, it's funny you say Bare Knuckle FC. Shout out to Felony Bennett, because Felony's going to be fighting on that card.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost. But I agree with you. I've tried some ways to stream bare knuckle fighting. I haven't seen anything yet, but since they're trying to make a reincarnation of it, and since they're, well, not a reincarnation, but they're just trying to bring it back, because it's a sport that was kind of on the shelf for a while. Took a shelf to boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, MMA, shit like that. But bare knuckle fighting, if they're going to bring it back, that's the perfect type of sport to stream on YouTube, because you want to bring the fans back. You want to bring new fans in. You want to explain the concept and, have, educate people on the history and shit like that. If you really want to build bare knuckle fighting, make it for free. There's no reason to charge people for that shit at all. No good reason whatsoever. It's not good marketing, at least. I see it.
I think this might be one of those promotions that's kind of a fly-by-night one. I don't know how many great ones they're going to get off. You know what's crazy is this is a $30 card, let's just say KSW, and a whole Risen weekend, a whole New Year's Eve weekend you spend $30 on. And the MMA media will report on this shit like crazy, because essentially this is a fucking write-off for them. They get to take this to their company and, oh, I watched it, it was great, check out all these highlights and all this shit, when meanwhile no one fucking watched it. And yet they give hardly any promotion to like PFL and other motherfuckers out there. So I think that's a bias there, where they're not paying for it because their company is, and they think it's bigger than it really is. What do you think, Jay?
El Chapo says bare knuckle boxing is in Ireland and England for years, even in rings. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true, because I know it was big in the Irish traveler community, so it makes sense that it's a very popular sport over there. But bringing it to the U.S., they're gonna have the international following. But if you want to bring United States fans in, a good way to do that is to make it free, make it like a free streaming, or a free stream, that is. Because charging up front, for European fans that have seen it for years, that are fans of it, yeah. But if you're not a big fan of it, if you're new to it, and you see you have to pay for that shit, you're likely not gonna pay for it. Especially if there are names on the card that you don't necessarily recognize. Maybe one or two, but not too many.
Yeah. Satellite time is what they have to pay for. Felony has a negative kill-to-death ratio. Any gamer would understand that. ACB shit is going pay-per-view. Why, says Kenshiro. Kenshiro, make sure to reverse this and go back and see what the hell me and Jay had to say. Thanks for stopping by, Ken. BLT, Drunk Savage, all you crazy mofos. I can't read everyone in the chat. Stewie, Tony, Jay Smooth, Dan from Oregon. Somehow we got our alternate personalities in here as well, Jay.
Yeah, man, we basically have a melting pot of everybody in MMA chat rooms, if you think about it.
That is what's up. All right, so what's up with this S70 stream? Let me click the refresh over here. If I feel crazy, I might come in and react to the main event or something. I don't know. Stay tuned on Twitter. Get all the updates from me and Jay Smooth. You'll know when we go live. Like always, smash the like button. Hit subscribe if you're new here, and the alerts so you always know when we're going live. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can get MMA for brunch. Of course, all types of MMA event live streams, recaps, and previews. Jay Smooth, let's get the hell out of here.
Let's do it, man. Peace, everybody. See you motherfuckers next time.
Back to you, sickos.
Yeah.
We're out.